I mean, where else can you say that you can sit there and eat a frozen paella on a plastic plate with a train track right behind you?
No.
You can't ask for more.
No.
Well, this is a bit of a disaster, isn't it?
It's absolutely hammering it down. It's thunder and lightning.
Afternoon. No, we haven't actually made a dash back to the sea, to the coastline of Germany. We are in fact by a massive lake. So we moved a little bit further along, and since we last saw you, I think we're still Bavaria, are we technically? I'm not sure.
I think we're just on the outskirts.
Maybe on the edge, I don't know. So we've come to just outside a town called Lindau, which hopefully we'll get to see tomorrow. We're parked. Well, we'll show you that later. It's quite interesting, but it's free, which is great. So hopefully we're going to spend the night here and use it as a base to explore where we're going tomorrow. But right behind us is, as I said, it's not the sea, it is a giant lake. And we came here because we heard about the amazing views that you get across the water to the Swiss Alps with the snow-covered peaks. You can't actually see anything today. There is just cloud and mist. And yeah, it's fine because we've been lucky with the weather, haven't we?
Aye.
But not so much today, and I think the next few days are not looking great either.
Oh well, Bolly's out again.
Yeah. So the lake we're at, it's called Lake Bodensee, but we would know it as Lake Constance, and it's inland. It's Central Europe's third biggest inland lake. If you Google biggest lakes in Europe, it comes about 25th down the list because there's so many on like Eastern Europe and in Russia and stuff. But if you count just Central Europe, it's one of the biggest.
Aye.
And I think we've been quite spoilt from the last location, so we're a bit like, well, you know, it doesn't quite match up. But I think on a clear day, it is meant to look very beautiful. And hopefully the town we're going to visit, which also seems pretty unique because it's kind of on an island, is going to live up to its reputation as well.
Aye. We've got the parking wasn't very good, was it?
Where?
Like around here in general?
No, it seems quite difficult in Lindau. It seems hard to get a space. There are campsites. They didn't seem amazing, but the thing is we don't need a campsite at the moment, so we try and only use them if we need them. And we have spent an absolute fortune recently on parking and other things. So we try and save as we go, and you know, we're not total skinflints despite what he may give off the impression of. Yeah, but we still have paid out for things. It's just that we still have to be careful, so you know, we try and mix it with the free spots. I've said all this before. This is a long introduction to the video, isn't it? So that's our little park up for the night right next to that. I think that's going to go on all through the day, but I think the trains do stop at night. We're quite lucky because this is actually an official motorhome parking spot and it's free, so it's allowed in the town. And if any of you ever look on Park for Night for spots to stay, I'm sure many of you do, you know, it's a well-known app. We did find this one on there. And some of the reviews on there, have you seen them? Like, they're the funniest things sometimes, like complaints about nothing, you know, a chicken made a noise, 1 star, never staying again, something like that. Completely ridiculous stuff sometimes. But this one was like, I've never seen anything like it. So somebody gave it 1 star because apparently by having a dedicated motorhome spot here, there's no services, but an allowed spot to stay, by placing it right next to the railway line, it shows complete contempt for the campervan and motorhome community, as if the whole thing has been done purely out of spite, which is just like nonsense, right? I mean, of course it's not ideal, but this is actually a small little town area we're in, so there's probably not many places you could put it. So yeah, do you know what, we'll take it, we're happy for it. We're going to see it as a good thing, not very picturesque, but it will do. How are you liking our little railway 5-star park up, Steve?
It don't bother me. The only thing I don't like is it's really muggy.
It is so hot, isn't it? We keep reading about the bad weather back home, so we're glad that we've got to experience something where we've escaped UK weather for a bit. But the heat has been unbearable at times. We just moan, don't we? We're never happy with weather. British people cannot handle anything.
No, the humidity has been something else.
Yeah.
It's been awful.
Really intense heat from the sun, really muggy heat as well, which is very sticky. But then, like, we'll moan if it's cold or windy. Like, we never have time to adjust. Maybe that's what it is as a British person. What do you think?
I just like to complain.
There's no consistency, is there? So we never, by the time we get used to one type of weather...
Yeah, but then we just moan that we've got the same thing and that we want something
Because if we get the same thing, it's normally rain. So, of course, you're going to moan about that.
Aye.
Maybe we just like moaning.
Oh, I do.
But it's like, you're walking around and you can tell that people probably who live around this lake or come and stay here, I'm guessing they pay a lot of money, right? And just one quick look at it, it's like, oh, you know, when you're in a van and it's like, we've just got this little spot for free to come and enjoy this kind of luxury feeling place. It didn't look very luxurious when we went down there because it was cloudy, but you can tell it's a place that probably has a lot of money and has expensive holidays. So it's just like, oh, it's a bit of a win, isn't it? You know, when you get that in a van. And it was a bit like that in Garmisch Park and Kirchton when we had the car park, you know, all these expensive hotels, and we've just parked up and strolled right into it.
Aye.
The joys of van life.
Indeed.
Alongside stuff like this. But you've got to take the balance, otherwise it doesn't work.
Aye.
Oh my god, I'm sweating like something that sweats a lot.
Dunno.
I don't know, let's not even guess, let's not go there.
A foot.
Like a foot, yeah. Like a foot in a rotting bin. I don't know.
Gross.
Anyway, tonight's dinner is it's a paella, and it's one of those frozen bag packet specials, and they're so handy in a van. So, you know, when you get in the supermarket, you can get like a frozen pack of like paella or like a curry, a Thai curry or something like that, and it's all rice with bits and pieces in, and you just chuck it in a pan, heat it up and go. So easy, isn't it? And they're so convenient for us. So that's what we've got. I've just sort of spliced it up a bit with some salad and olive oil. It's a rather large portion, but whatever. We're growing boys and all that.
Yes.
Especially while we're in Germany. I mean, it's serviceable.
Aye.
What more can you say? I mean, where else can you say that you can sit there and eat a frozen paella on a plastic plate with a train track right behind you?
Aye.
You can't ask for more.
No.
Wonderful. Good morning. Filming from strange angles this morning. I don't know how this has happened. So we woke up by our little railway track site, but now it's not looking great. The rain's due most of the day, so we're very tired as well because it took us ages to drop off in the heat. And we've got up nice and early so we can go and explore this town called, oh my god, what was it called again? Lindau. We're off to Lindau, the island town on Lake Constance. Well, let's wake up, have some caffeine, and we will go. Oh, it's like being in Prague again, isn't it?
Except not as pretty so
Except
far.
not as pretty so far. I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure it's perfect in the nice weather when you look at the pictures and see what things look like. But anyway, we will still show you in the rain. But the first thing we're going to do is grab a coffee because we're going to hope that it passes in like 10 minutes, which it won't.
I just want a cup of coffee.
We need to get our bearings and we need some caffeine.
Aye.
Well, given it's pouring it down with rain, we've run into a coffee shop and we've got little treats. This is a posh one, isn't it, Steve? I mean, look, we've got little glasses of water. You know it's posh if they brought that out. A little biscuit that goes with it. And we've got a croissant with some jam, some butter and some coffee. I mean, we'll just film this because we can't film anything else right now, can we? Although I see some light in the sky, that might be promising. Let's not get our false hopes up though.
Anyway, let's eat our croissant.
Let's enjoy our rather posh breakfast. How lovely. And somewhat expensive, but anyway. However, we did get a little glass of water and we do get a posh biscuit. Shall we see what's in the packet?
Go on then.
Normally it's like a biscotti type of thing, isn't it? But this one seems a bit different. Oh, it's a little heart. How
Shortbread.
quaint. Well, it's briefly stopped raining. That's got to be the most expensive breakfast, given what it was, ever, right? We just dashed in somewhere out of the rain, and the first thing we saw to our left was two ladies drinking champagne or something, so we knew it was like, oh God, what have we done? And you know, when you walk in somewhere, it's like, well, we've got to stay here now, because there were people having like coffees and stuff. But $17.80 it cost altogether, and I'm sure he actually charged me $18.80, so that was a lot for what was a croissant and a coffee, right? But anyway, the sun's not out, but it's got dry briefly, so let's go and have a look at this little island town of Lindau.
Yeah, we better do it quick.
Yeah, so you'll get 2 seconds of footage probably. Let's go. So it's chucking it down with rain, it's one of those days, but we're on the lake here of Lake Bodensee or Lake Constance, whichever one you want to refer it to. Obviously Bodensee is the German way, a German name, and Constance is what we would call it in English. So it's a huge lake, and I can't remember if we said yesterday or not, but it borders 3 countries. So obviously you've got Germany here, the other side of the water is Switzerland, but there's also Austria over there. I'm not necessarily pointing in the right direction, by the way, but there's 3 countries bordering it. Usually this place is really famous for its amazing views and its beautiful waters, and you can see the mountains with the snow-capped Alps and stuff like that, and you can't see anything. A bit like when we first started the video, there is nothing to see today. But it's alright, you know, it's still nice to be somewhere different. We're just getting wet.
Aye.
So one interesting fact about Lindau, which we never would have realised or guessed, especially because it's such a small town, is the fact that every year it's the location for the Nobel laureate meeting place. So what happens is every year Nobel prize winners in things like chemistry, physics, medicine and stuff like that, they meet here, and they meet here with young scientists as well. So the idea is like a blending of knowledge from people who have won big awards and prizes, well, the Nobel Prize of course, right down to young scientists who are still learning. And it's people from all over the world that come together to share science and just to kind of, what's the word, Stephen?
Tell everybody they know it all.
Yeah. Yeah, to show everyone what they know.
Yeah.
Say, listen, I know everything, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's what.
No, not really.
No, but it's meant to be a good thing, isn't it?
It's a sharing of knowledge and kind of vision, I guess.
Yeah, just sharing of ideas in science across the world. From people from all walks of life and all different levels in their careers, so young and old, and the Nobel Prize winners right down to people still learning. So this meeting has been going on since 1951, and it started just after the war, because it was a way to unify people with science and countries to share their information on science and medicine and physics and stuff like that, because it probably disintegrated during the war and before that. So it was an idea to bring it back together so people could work together to share ideas, and you know, the whole thing behind it, and in fact the whole thing behind the Nobel Prize in general, if I'm right, I don't know for definite, is a sense of like just create peace and harmony by using these ideas to help people work together. I don't know if that's working out in the world, but you know, it's a good idea, isn't it?
Aye.
I don't know if I'm explaining any of this right. I've done this 1,000 times and I keep messing up my words, so that's the best you're going to get, I'm afraid.
It sounded alright to me.
Well, whatever.
Come on, let's keep moving, we're getting soaked.
We are. Well, this is a bit of a disaster, isn't it?
It's absolutely hammering it down. It's thunder and lightning. I mean, and I don't think it's any better either, so...
I thought it was supposed to break at some point, but it doesn't seem to be happening, does it?
This might be a half video, and then we might have to go somewhere else and finish off.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do some of it here, but I doubt we'll get a whole video out.
I mean, I like to think we try and be troopers in these situations, like in Prague, you know, we try and push through it to film as much as we can and still see stuff and enjoy it, but this is so torrential at the moment, we're just getting absolutely drenched, it's impossible, I can't film anything. So apart from just getting soaked, the camera's getting soaked as well, so, and Steve's trying to hold the umbrella, but it's just beyond awkward, so yeah, we've dashed into a coffee shop. It's thunder and lightning now, you know. I don't know what we're going to do. I think we'll wait it out for a bit.
We'll have a coffee, we'll have another go, but if not, we're just going to have to sack it off and move on.
Yeah, sack it off again.
But what this might mean, like, because we've got work coming up soon, we might have some weeks where there aren't videos coming up.
Yeah.
So
I think that's always going to be the case, isn't it? Like sometimes we are going to have to miss a week because we can't film every week. We have to be at work. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
But yeah, so that might be happening soon. So prepare yourselves.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, no, I mean, we shouldn't have too many gaps, but I think it's unrealistic for us to have a video out every week of the year. And we've been pretty consistent, but just because of the way our lives are, we stop to work in chunks, so we try and save up videos. I've explained this many times before, but, you know, sometimes we have to miss some. Anyway, we'll make the best of it. Hopefully we can still finish something while we're here. Let's enjoy and have a coffee. So that over there is Lindau's famous lighthouse in its harbour, but of course we're not seeing it in its best light. Just Google it for some really pretty pictures and you'll see what it can look like when the sun's shining and you can see the water and the mountains clearly, because today ain't that day.
Nope.
Still very pretty.
Aye.
We've come back to the van. We kind of gave up a little bit in the end, didn't we? Because it was just a little bit...
Yeah, there wasn't that much there really, was there?
No, I mean, it was all right. I think if you come in nicer weather, you'd be able to appreciate it a lot more. The rain did stop at the end, but we kind of had to be back before 3. So by that point, we thought, let's just get on the train, come back. So it's 10 minutes along. We walked back. First thing is we saw Daisy was still there. So that's step number 1 when you've got a van. The relief that your van is actually still there when you go past it.
Step 2 is there's no tickets or broken windows.
Yeah, step 2 is no tickets or broken windows or any vandalism or a flat tyre or anything like that, or you've left a window open and it's flooded or whatever else.
And step 3 is that she starts and moves.
Yes, and you go through this every time.
Aye.
I kind of think, like, on another day we might have been annoyed by that, the fact it had rained and the day had kind of not panned out as we expected, but we've been so lucky recently and we've been to so many lovely places, haven't we, where the weather is timed, that we kind of feel all right about it, don't we? So it's like, okay, you know, you've got to take the highs with the lows, and that was just a day that was just a bit difficult to do anything. Lindau itself, what do you think? It's all right, yeah.
Been a bit spoiled.
Yeah,
didn't we?
Definitely.
But me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because of the weather. It probably looks a lot better.
Yeah.
In the sun, but it was all right. I mean, I did like that you could go in the churches there. They were free. Which is quite nice.
That's good.
I quite like doing that. But yeah.
There's some nice old buildings, and as Stephen said, the churches were good. There's some nice things to look at, and there was an old church where you had a really old like a depiction of Christ going through various phases, but it's been there for about 500 years, so that was really interesting. I think like you come here in better weather, as we've said, it will show it off in a much greater light, and you'll see how lovely the lake can look and the mountains. The old town was quite nice. You know, there's some pretty buildings. I'm not saying don't come here, but we probably wouldn't put that anywhere near the top of our list of things that we've been to. With that though, we're gonna head off, aren't we?
Yeah, we're gonna head off to wherever we're going. We're
going further, I had to work out the compass in my head then. We're going further west, and we're heading towards the Black Forest region, maybe not today, but certainly at some point very, very soon. And we're looking to go to a free air tonight, aren't we, hopefully?
Yeah, we need
and settle down.
We need some charge batteries.
Yeah, we need to finish off one of these videos, which means we need electric, and solar's not necessarily going to work out at the moment. So we're going to go to a free air, hopefully, and see where it takes us.
Aye.
And with that, we will carry on and see you at the next place in Germany.
Aye.
See you later.
Tschüss.
Tschüss. Evening, Stevie.
Evening.
So we've had a bit of a merry-go-round, haven't we, trying to find somewhere to park today. It's been one of those.
We went to another spot, and then it was really busy, some cyclist thing going on, and we had some angry red-faced German man come and waving his arms at us, saying something to us in German that we didn't understand, so we just swiftly turned around and left.
Which we would have done anyway, but it just made it worse, because he was clearly having a go at us, and it wasn't really our fault, you know. We just drove into something that we didn't know was happening. It was a cycling event. So that was getting late in the day, so we had to find somewhere else, and we did need electricity, so that kind of ruled out a few places, but there were a few airs about a 30-minute drive just north of there, and we found a little peaceful one. There's nobody here. It's not very picturesque. It's a car park again, but it doesn't matter. Completely free, apart from the services you put like €1 in to use or whatever, which is good. So we're kind of feeling now, we've got that sort of moment of reflection going on. We're kind of right near the end of our trip. There's not much left to go, and we've been really lucky, haven't we? We're so grateful we've got the chance to do this.
Definitely.
You know, make no mistake, for whatever bad things have happened, like where we broke down, it's still so amazing getting to do things like this. And it's like, if you ever get the chance to travel in a van for like even for a couple of weeks, then do it, give it a chance, because it allows you to see so much more in a short space of time that you wouldn't normally see. So yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like, it's an experience and a half, and when you're living it, obviously there's more downsides, but all the upsides, there's many more upsides as well. So it's just making us really appreciate what we've done again this year. That'll be our only trip abroad this year, most likely, unless we can squeeze something else in. Most likely not, because funds won't allow it. We're kind of depleted after this, but that's fair enough, because in our old lives we'd never get to go on holiday for 2 months, would we? What job would ever say, yeah, sure, go bugger off for 2 months?
Yeah, exactly.
It would never happen. So by doing it in a van and being in a van, living in a van,
we're lucky with our jobs as well.
Yeah,
for as long as we've got it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, yeah, of course, if you're in a van and you have a job that's still kind of traditional, then you might not always get the chance to do that. But if you do work remotely, or do a job that's maybe seasonal or kind of intermittent like ours is, then you have more opportunity to kind of go out and have those extended trips, as and when funds allow. So yeah, we're just feeling like, I don't know, it's just a moment of reflection, like, oh, it's nearly over, but you know what, it's not to be sad. It's like, we're happy we've done this. Morning, Steve.
Morning.
How did you enjoy our little park up?
Yeah, it's alright, nice and quiet. Electricity's really cheap, 50 cents for a kilowatt.
That's the cheapest we've seen so far, isn't it, I think?
It's really, really cheap.
So that's really good.
Cheaper than a campsite.
Aye,
And
got
we
all the
need is
services.
electric. Exactly.
A little bit slopey, but not too bad. So we're just getting everything set up, ready to go, and we found that there's a lot more free airs in this part, haven't we? So since we've moved into this kind of like southwestern side of Germany, there seems to be a few more options as we kind of get nearer to the Black Forest. So that's a good sign. Stephen's going to cut my hair again soon because he's my new barber. Nice and cheap and efficient.
I am cheap.
You are cheap.
I am cheap.
Yeah. Don't mind cheap.
No.
I like cheap. Right then. So yeah, we made it sound like we were going to do something else, but actually we're going to end the video because we've decided to do that. So really sorry about that if that was a bit misleading.
Yeah.
We're going to call it a day there.
We kind of have to make our videos a little bit shorter. We've got 5-week block of work, so we will be at work for 5 weeks. So there'll be no travelling. Like there's not even a weekend.
We can't film during that period.
So we can't
usually
do anything. So we are thinking we might make our videos a little bit shorter at the moment, so we can stretch them out so we can get something out every week, but there's still no promises in that either.
No, and we never know how long the videos are actually going to be. The idea is that it probably be shorter sometimes, but to be honest, you know, until you're actually watching it, we really don't know, because it only takes a few minutes of me waffling on about some nonsense or other, which probably happens far too often, that it suddenly becomes a feature-length film like Titanic or something. So yeah, we don't know, but in theory this one is probably shorter than some of them have been recently, and some of them will be going forward because, as Stephen said, we go to work, so we can't always film continuously through the year, so it just means we have to stack some up so we can continue putting one out a week, which we still want to do, you know. We might have the odd break here and there, but we would still like to release one every Sunday.
This bit's a little bit unusual because we don't normally work 5 weeks in a row.
No.
That's kind of the longest stint we've ever really done.
So we've got to prepare for it,
we really need the money.
Yeah.
And it's available. Like whenever work's available, we always take it.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to end the video now. So please push your like button, push your subscribe button,
press.
And your notification bell. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yep, thank you for watching. We are now heading further to the west of Germany, probably Black Forest region. So we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.